Scotty and Boaz Rehash, episode 17.
And we're back with the Clash of Clans for the fans in the stands. This is Boaz, and I'm here with former champion level player Scotty827.
Yes, hello. It is, it's been a completely different ride since champion.
Oh yeah,
it has. It's completely changed my game. I've been kind of meaning to talk about that, like on the podcast, but I mean, who thought I'd just be in Masters farming and just moving around like nothing else? And I'm at like, I've been sitting around 2,700 trophies with hogs, my same hog army that I used back at like 2,100 and lower.
Mm-hmm.
So I've been farming with 22 hogs, 50 barbs, 8 wall breakers, a couple wizards, but I usually will donate them, but I have one barrack going with wizards, and then the rest archers. And I've been going in and just usually 2-starring, and then I've got 3 heal and 2 freeze. So I'm using all my spells, but I'm cleaning up the elixir really well, like in Masters, and then taking 100k loot bonus. So it really kind of balances out.
Nice.
And so it's just been weird. It's been kind of having been up there and attacked with the Lava Lunion and all those different. I guess I'm just looking at the bases and not being so scared of
Infernos. And stuff.
Of the Infernos. I'm like, okay, yeah, I can handle that. Oh, you've got a level 1 Inferno. It's like, okay, yeah, that's not a big deal. I can get past that. So I don't know. I think that the pushing, and I pushed for a long time. Mm-hmm. So maybe I just got used to it, but I really think that having done that, having had that experience, having hit Masters, and then kind of coasting down, looking for that loot bonus, automatically that league bonus, and that reminds me of something else I want to talk about. Having that league bonus, it's like, okay, you got to get at least 1 star. Mm-hmm. Can I get 1 star in this base? Because I could probably take this much elixir. Is it worth it if I get a quarter of it and the loot bonus? Am I going to at least break even? In whatever gold you take, you're breaking even. Unless you've searched for a really long time, because you're going to get 100,000 gold, 100,000 elixir, and 500 dark. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, just get the 50%. Or get the town hall, and then usually it's a 2. Sometimes it's a 3. I did a couple really good attacks that surprised the shit out of me. But so yeah, it's been good. Okay, sorry to get on a tangent with that, but
no, that's
it
good.
Was,
that's
I don't know, because
change.
I just had listened to I'd listened to parts of it. Mm-hmm. We've had the back episodes and.
Oh, the interview with Jake, you mean?
Yeah, the Jake stuff, that got up, and I was editing our last 2, and then working on Boneyards the last 2. And so I didn't get a chance to fully listen to all of you and Jake until today. And so I had a lot of thoughts on it, and I was thinking about that when I was driving today, as I listened to them all.
Oh, yeah, because you had the big commute, the big road trip. So.
Yeah, the big road trip today. So it was... So listening to that and thinking about the pushing stuff, I thought, because one of the things he said was that he didn't really understand the pushing thing, and we've talked about that. Mm-hmm. That it's just doesn't really do it for you. Mm-hmm. But I think that there's a lot of merit in it in terms of making it better. I guess I just didn't think I would attack with this army at this level against tougher bases. And
you mean the same farming army you were using to farm down low? You weren't thinking that would translate up at a higher
no.
Like
and when I was trying to climb out, or trying to climb up, right away, I would hit about 2,300 and start to fail with my army, the same one that I'm using now. And when I was doing that, it was like, okay, I guess I have to switch. And so I started doing Balloonian and those type of things.
Yeah, so that's and I'm happy for you that you can get back to using hogs. I know you were super sad for a while there.
I love those little bastards. I forgot how much I love the hogs.
Mm-hmm.
And that was another thing in the interview, you know, and he's talking about them being nerfed, and it really wasn't, like he said. It was more about them with the queen
yeah,
being tethered
that's huge.
and in the
that's
center,
so big,
and the double bombs. And you know, I guess it just I didn't realize how ingrained it was that the hogs got knocked down, but really they didn't. But it sure changed the way you could use them, and it's like, oh man, yeah, it just reminds you how much the game changes. And it actually made me start thinking, you know, I could maybe be using my hogs in war a little bit.
Oh yeah, I mean that was like I knew that the the issue with them was the queen and the double giant bombs, but I had never thought about it in the way he put it until he said, like, the hog stats did not change, like nothing about them changed. So if you can kill the queen and if you can take care of the double giant bombs, then the base is literally just an
paradise.
Well, it's just how it was back when they were OP. Like then you just have, you know, a base that was the exact same way they were before the, you know, quote unquote nerf. And so that was interesting to think about, just to remember, you know, what it was like to attack back then, and to know that now, you know, if you can send a golem in with your heroes and take out the queen, and, you know, either identify the giant bombs or explode the double giant bombs or take out the area with balloons or whatever, then you just have the base at your mercy and you can just hog it like you used to be able to hog it. And
yeah, and so we're talking, you know, really talking about the hogs in war. And so, you know, I still see hogs being used lower when it's an obvious base. But if you know, I think about, okay, well, if I watch a replay and I know where those bombs are now, you know, and it's a Town Hall 9, you know, and I'm attacking like Town Hall 10s with my hogs and 2-3 starring them, you know.
when you're farming,
I'm farming, you know, if I could figure out, you know, what's there, and in those, I should maybe start looking at it through hog eyes, you know, trying to figure out, okay, if this was a regular base that I was going to attack, could I do it with this army? You know, and so I'm starting to wonder, and part of me is like, is there a place for barbarians in war, you know, and archers, and, you know, using that army, using that king's rage, as a
fifth spell, or sixth spell for you guys. Sorry,
yeah,
talking as a Town Hall 9 here. I think the answer is no. I think that barbarians they're just too unpredictable a troop in terms of their AI, you know, and they just spread out and go wherever. And any of that housing space, I think, could usually be used by a troop that would be more effective. Like if you're like warring on a budget or something, like if it's someone in a not very serious war clan who wants to have a cheap war army or something, I could see it. But I mean, the way I see it, I only ever see people use barbs as a way to set down like a meat shield for the witches when you're going to do a CC kill. You know, you set down some barbs to like lure the clan castle out in different directions, and then block for the witches when you deploy them, so nothing kills the witches. But so in terms of like using a swarm of barbs to take advantage of that sixth spell, I think that's probably not. Like, I think that's just kind of overthinking it, because if you already have those 5, you know, you already can have several rages, and the fact that it only affects the barbs, it just seems, but I mean, maybe like it just seems to me like I couldn't figure out a way that it would be like efficient to use it, but I could totally see someone who is, you know, super good at war coming up with a you know, an attack like that, just like you're saying that, oh yeah, if you do this, you can take out this part of the base with just, you know, 10 barbarians, because they all are, you know, rage the entire time. Right?
I mean, really, I'm talking like if I took in a 50 horde, you know, with my king, kind of like I do in my farming attacks, and I had the mortars down, and I had the wizard towers, you know, I wasn't relying, I'm wanting them to swarm in through. I just think about, okay, if looking at my farming army, my farmy, as Boneyard calls it, how would I be able to take this base? You know, would I in regular farming go after this base?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I'm starting to wonder if the answer isn't yes sometimes. I don't know, just thinking about it. And there was, you know, a lot of stuff, I guess a lot of things that people don't plan for, or the way people have adjusted their bases to account for go wee and, you know, all the other things. And so I don't know. I'm starting to wonder, well, you know, what place there is, but you know, of course,
I can kind of picture it now. Like if you create like on a corner of the base, say you create a funnel by like destroying a couple, you know, edge buildings with some wizards or something, and then you just do your big barb horde and just spam it all at the corner, and like maybe do a few wall breakers to get in past the wall, and just send everything in there with the Barb King, and then hit the Iron Fist. I mean, it would just dissolve everything. All the buildings in that compartment would just be gone immediately. You know, no matter what, unless there was like, you know, 2 wizard towers in there that are protected by storages or something like that. Is the only way that they would be able to you know, not all be taken out. It'd be kind of like Velks, how they hit multiple buildings, you know, at the same time. If a huge barb swarm was just all in there under rage, every building would be gone so fast. Yeah,
I mean, like in the farming army, I send them all in. I'm going, okay, you know, they'll get in, they'll be taking a few hits. I'll wait till, you know, hopefully the mortars are gone by that point. And once the mortars are gone, or like the wizard towers are, you know, 2 or 3 of them are down, I can clean out fast, like the center, you know, and they're perfect for expos, just, you know, getting slammed.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
And mine are about to be level 7.
Nice.
And so it's like, ooh, can I see this working? I don't know. It's kind of like wishful thinking, you know, and it would have to be the perfect base.
Well, how soon are your barbs going to be level 7, Scotty?
2 days.
Oh, so you will be in time to take advantage of the boost. I was picturing that like this barbarian event that your barbs would turn level 7, like the day that the barbarian dragon event ended or something.
No. Okay. So that's the big news today in the world of Clash of Clans. Mm-hmm. The barbarian dragon boost, which so it's boosted by 4.
It's yeah, I think it's just like a regular barracks boost, how it, you know, does 4 times the speed. So I think the barbarians and dragons are both quadruple speed, if I remember correctly.
5 times quicker.
Oh,
both
5
units
times quicker.
Okay. And I was thinking about it, I'm like, the Dragarians swarm. And I thought, why would they do barbarians and dragons?
Isn't that like Game of Thrones, Dragarian? What does that sound?
Yeah.
Oh, Targaryen. That's what it is, yeah.
But I thought and so Dr. Octagon sent me a picture. I was driving, or texted me, and had the picture and I hadn't seen the news yet. Mm-hmm. And so it was attack your opponents with, everybody's got this, with barbarians and dragons, lots of barbarians and dragons for a limited time, both units train 5 times quicker. And I was trying to think about it. I'm like, why would Supercell boost those 2? Mm-hmm. And I don't know. And I'm like, well, who would that affect most? Mm-hmm. You know, it would probably affect the middle, like Town Hall, or affect TH7s, 8s, 9s, maybe, depending on the attacks. But like dragons are such an expensive troop. Mm-hmm. It's going to drag, and he had mentioned in the text, I'm going to pull it up and see what he said.
And I'm going to watch this YouTube video real quick that Supercell tweeted out about how to use the barbarian dragon attack before.
Oh, they did, huh?
Yeah, they tweeted out this thing that is with Galadon. And it's, how to use barbarian and dragon. So, or you continue talking. I'll see if I can figure out if there's actually a reason that this is any good.
So this is what Dr. Octagon said in his text. He said, oh my God, why? Prepare for all drag war attacks, barb farming. If you boosted all barracks, how long would a barb army take? LOL. All elixir is going to get burnt up fast. And then he said Clash Super Bowl commercials, which I would imagine seeing this Sunday. It's Super Bowl Sunday. Clash commercials.
And to answer one of those questions, I believe Tyrael tweeted out that all barb army would take 1 minute to have 240 spaces worth of barbs would take 1 minute to cook.
Oh my God.
So to answer that question.
And I think, well, if that's the case, you know, what are they hoping for, and who is it going to hit, and what kind of armies could we see? The Dragarian army, could it work with barbs and dragons? And then I thought, well, okay, where's this elixir going to come from? And I thought, where are they doing it to boost or to drain elixir from the economy in some way?
Oh, interesting.
You know, or is it because I've been farming, and I got to tell you, I'm already close to, and this is me now with the broken elixir economy, the update that fixed it. I'm at 4.2 mil of elixir. I've put a few mil in elixir into walls. And so at about 7 days left of my my barrack, I said, okay, I got to start saving my elixir again, because I was keeping my elixir down really low and saving my gold, and I started an archer tower. And because people were just hitting me, you know, if you've got gold and elixir lately, it just seems like you're just a big target. And so I had to decide which one I wanted to protect. And so I thought, you know what, I'll funnel it into walls. I can't do anything with it until, you know, for a while anyways. And then I can save up and actually keep my gold, you know, to get my archer tower started. So with 7 days left, I went and, you know, now I've got one day and 15 hours left. I'm at 4.2 million gold, or 4.2 million elixir. It's going to be an $8 million upgrade next time. And I've got 1.2 mil in elixir in my war loot waiting to be. So with some good farming, I could get up there relatively soon. And I'm going to start my lightning spell after that to max.
Oh, nice. Oh, that'll be good.
And instead of going to archers or instead of going to giants, I'm like, you know what? I do take in a lightning spell into war. If I'm doing like a go wee wee, I'll max that, get that taken care of. And then the rest is kind of like play money with elixir.
Yeah. If it's stuff that you aren't ever actually going to use.
Right. In war, you know, giants might be fun in farming. But it would,
that's what I think. That's what I would go with, just because it'd be interesting to see how they would do those level 7 giants. Because it seems like an interesting, just like I've always loved giants. I've always liked to farm with giants, even though I know I should farm with Barch. You know, a lot of times I'll farm with Barch if I'm just sitting down and able to just, you know, attack nonstop for a while. But giants are just so much more fun to me because you can actually take on, you know, bases with, you know, storages way in the middle and stuff without having to, I don't know. It's just Barching is kind of a pain in the butt to me unless you're just hitting mines and collectors and stuff on the outside. I don't like having to create all the funnels and everything to get your Barch into the middle, and you need to use a bunch of spells and your heroes every time and stuff. And so, yeah, I don't know.
I kind of want to talk to you about that. About, did you find out about the dragon?
Yeah, so I have my official verdict. My opinion has not changed based on the Galadon video.
Okay.
So I think it's so stupid. I hate it. If they had made any of the troops cost less, that would be epic. If they had made dragons cook, you know, say twice as fast and like half the price, that would be awesome. But being able to cook an expensive, completely just inefficient troop faster that's not helpful to me. I mean, if I'm going to spend whatever the max is for you guys, 40,000 or something. So even to cook like 5 dragons is, you know, 200,000 elixir right there. It's
400,000 with max camps, max dragons. It's a $400,000 or 400,000 elixir army. That's not even counting spells, I believe.
Yeah, that's just insane. So I mean, right, so it's not good for farming unless you have like. So, I mean, it would have been good for farming back when elixir didn't matter to a large chunk of players. Now elixir matters to anyone. Well, so I guess if you're Town Hall 8 or below and you've already maxed all of your defenses, if you're Town Hall 8 and below and already maxed all your troops and all your barracks, then it would be good because you're still burning elixir. You're still having elixir evaporating that you can't use. So I guess for those people and those, Town Hall 7 and 8 that are at that point where they're done with their elixir upgrades, then it's kind of cool. It's a way to pump out, get rid of some of that elixir that just keeps getting full. A lot of people will just try to, like what I used to do when I had max elixirs, I would start a bunch of spells and then cancel them because you used to only get half of your money back when you'd cancel a spell. And so I'd start all my spells, cancel them, start all my spells, cancel them, start all my spells, cancel them, because I would have those big red bubbles on all my elixir pumps and it would annoy me. So this would be a way for those people who are at that point. They could use, these huge drag armies in farming. And even if you spend, 300,000 on your 300,000 elixir on your army and make 100,000 gold, 2,000 dark elixir, then it's a profit, But right. For anyone else who's not at that specific point in the game, it doesn't make any sense. So the thing that I could kind of see,
because it's 12 drags, 40 times 12, I'm trying to do the math. It's
480.
480K, yeah. And that's not counting spells.
Yeah, so you're looking at a 600,000 elixir army,
yeah,
which is nuts. So I mean that. So if you're in that situation, it's kind of cool. For anyone else, it seems ridiculous. The one thing about it that's kind of cool is doing, I guess, all barb raids in silver or gold 2 or 3, and just looking for dead bases, and then you can just cook it so fast, and then and then attack the bases. Barbing. Yeah, exactly. Instead of barching, you could just be doing full barbs. Even though that's way worse than barch. There's a reason that barch works, is because the barbs tank and the archers live longer in order to deal the damage and stuff. I mean, there's a method behind the simple looking attack. But you could do it with all barbs. The reason I can't do that, so I can't do the dragon thing because I don't want to waste elixir. I can't do the barb thing because if I get too low in trophies, I'll fall out of wars. I've already had this issue. I like farming in gold 1. I like looking for dead bases in gold 1. Now I was getting to the point where I was being 35th or 40th or something in my clan when I was in gold 1 because everyone was farming higher than that. And so first I was like, fuck you guys, man, come farm no more. You're fucking with me. But then I was like, okay, fine. So I climbed up, so now I'm farming in crystal 3 solely because I don't want to miss out on any wars. So if I were to do this barbing, I could do it, but I would drop trophies super fast, and then I would end up falling out of wars and stuff. And so for that reason, that that part doesn't really work for me. So and oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, so I'm the first. This might be Supercell's been really nice to me lately.
Well, I think this is the case for a lot of people. Trophies don't matter at all, and I've been in situations like that. The only reason they matter to me right now is because trophies dictate whether you're in wars. And when I was doing sub 200 on my other account, and then I fell out of a war, and I was like, oh crap, yeah, that's the thing. So
that happened to me. And I say that as Xace has been resurrected.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
I resurrected him because I went to Kent Farmhouse for the wars this week. We were trying to get matched up. This is another member of the Kryptonian family. The Kent Farmhouse, which is predominantly a farming clan with one mandatory war a week. Mm-hmm. And they were trying to get matched up against Phantom Zone, another member of the, and so they were trying to balance it.
And Phantom Zone,
and that's where Jungle Insider resides.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
which also has one mandatory war per week. Correct?
I think it's mandatory only for Town Hall 10s, although I'm not sure. because last war I missed both my attacks. I had some stuff going on, and last time I checked it wasn't mandatory, but I know Kent changed theirs, and so I checked with
And
someone.
Jungle Insiders is Town Hall 8.
Yeah,
right?
Town Hall 8. No, actually, I'm now at Town Hall 9 as
You
of
are, huh?
like a few days ago. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
great.
brand new
Another one to
Town Hall
Boaz.
9. And no, I didn't Boaz this one though. I rushed this one.
So you should rush that one to Town Hall 10 too. See
No,
what
I'm
happens.
gonna keep this one at Town Hall 9. Then I can put Boaz at Town Hall 10 at some point, and I'll still have a Town Hall 9 account. So
And I
it won't
actually
be
have
like-
an idea for you about that.
Oh,
but
yeah?
let's.
Oh,
but-
so
Well,
Supercell tweeted out this video, right? That was like how to use barbs and dragons and stuff. And I was like, okay, cool. Like there's going to be some awesome attack, right? For how to use barbs and dragons, and it's going to make sense. So it was kind of cool. It's Galadon. He used them effectively. He used barbs to like clear out the trash buildings on the outside to kind of make a not make a funnel really, but just make it so that the drags wouldn't go around the base. So then you spread out the drags along that side, and then also put more barbs and heroes in through a hole in the wall. So then the drags tanked for the barbs, which was a kind of cool thing. The drags tanked for the barbs. The barbs went in, took out the buildings. And then he had a jump spell to the town hall and the dark elixir. So all the barbs jumped over, took out the dark elixir, took out the town hall. Like it was a good, well-designed attack.
what level? What Town Hall level was he?
He's level 10, Town Hall 10. So he had 145 barbs, max barbs, 6 max drags. Four lightning spells, 1 jump spell. He lightninged some splash damage things in that.
So
area.
there could be a spot for it in war in a sense.
Well,
maybe.
Well, here's the thing. So he was farming. He got almost 3,000 dark elixir, which is cool. You know, he got 3,000 elixir, so basically no elixir, 50 gold, so 50,000 gold, so very little gold. And yet he spent, he spent 240,000 on dragons, and then he spent another maybe 150,000. So he spent about 400,000 elixir on his army. Then also whatever elixir went into his CC true. I think it was all barbs in his CC, so not much there. So about 400,000 army, 2 max heroes, which died, and he's gonna have to recook, or heal them up or whatever. So he did a trade-off of 400,000 elixir for 50,000 gold and 2,700 dark elixir.
Well, it depends on where he was at in trophies too.
Oh yeah, I guess it could be a pushing. It could be a kind of a pushing thing. He was in champion. He got 37%. So that's a good point. It is probably not just a farming thing. It's a pushing thing.
Because if you're getting a town hall,
cups, though,
because that's going to be so all you have to do is get 1 star and you get the bonus. So I think he must have pulled 180.
That's
for
a good
the
point.
bonus.
It's a big, which is like half the army right there. It covers, which is nice. Yeah, that's a good point. I always forget about the whole trophy situation.
And the amount of dark elixir added to that, to the dark elixir, the bonus, and then the gold by itself. I mean, so he's trading off, and he's probably got all his stuff maxed, which means he'd only be putting that elixir into walls anyways.
Yeah, that's a good point. I bet he is only. Yeah, I'm sure all his troops and everything are all maxed.
So,
yeah, that's a good point. I looked at it and I was thinking of it as a farming attack, but I bet if I had listened to the audio, I bet he was describing it as a pushing attack, because it was, if he got 2 cups for getting a star, he's probably pretty high up there if you're getting that small amount of, if it's a 6-cup offering that you're going for and everything.
So I resurrected Xaeus, and I went to Kent Farmhouse, and Xaeus went to House of El for the war, and I thought, okay, I should make it, I'll just be a number in there, and if somebody, they can boot me if somebody else wants to be in the war or whatever, because I wasn't sure when, where things were going to go. And so what happened was I got in there, and I went in later, and I wasn't in the war, and I'm like, what? And I was sitting at, I think, 800 trophies. I had to lower the trophy limit to let myself into the clan. And I'm like, oh my God, because my town halls have been sitting outside forever. I haven't attacked in, I don't know when I killed him.
Oh man, people that were finding your base were probably, had you at least upgraded all your pumps and mines?
No,
too?
they're not fully upgraded, but they were pretty far up there.
Oh, okay. So people got at least a little bit from you, probably.
Yeah, and there was a dark elixir pump in there. So I resurrected him. I thought I'll just placehold him, and then I thought, well, maybe I should start doing stuff, because it was I just hit Town Hall 8. And so this kind of gets me into thinking about and I want to talk about you and where you're at in the game. Because you brought up the stuff with Jake, kind of about farming and things like that. And I'm like, we haven't really talked about that in a long time.
Hello?
But yep, I'm here.
Oh, sorry.
And so, but just briefly, I resurrected Xace, and then I was finding these just awesome loot things, but they were like Town Hall 6s and stuff, and I'm going, oh my God, this is crazy. I'm like passing these camps, and some of them are just like, 12,000 elixir, but then I'd see like a 200,000 one. I'd just attack with giants, archers, barbs, and some wall breakers, and I'm not boosting my spell factory, and I was just like starting to clean up really fast, and I'm like, okay, you know what? Maybe I'll just collect Xace and put gold into walls, and until I have enough elixir to upgrade my drill. So I got my second drill.
What town hall level are you? 7? Oh, 8.
I just hit 8 because I had went to get my drill. This is before they had the dark elixir drill. And so...
Oh, I had it at 7.
So then there was a 2. So 2, I'm like, you know what? I might as well put that on the map. And so I thought, you know what? Maybe I will just play this casually, just for fun. It can't be in 2 places at once. If I'm in the clan, I'm probably not going to be... But I could, use it more. And I kind of just killed it. And somebody had, we were trying to match up with One Hive. And I tweeted Jake last week, and we were off, but I think it was Bazinga or Sasquatch. It was Sasquatch said, why don't you take Xace over there and see if they want to try to match up?
Oh, nice.
And I was like, oh, that would mean resurrecting him from the dead, but it got me thinking. And so I did, so I could stay in House of L, and maybe do a little bit help out. And then I went to Kent Farmhouse where we had 2 wars. We lost the first one. Obvious I modders or X modders. Dropping barbs right on the bomb, sending hogs in without even testing. It was like,
that sucks.
It was like, I have not seen that in House of L. Blatantly, I don't think much, I mean, the attacks, maybe they did, but this was like, whoa, just 3-star, 3-star. Well, we only lost by 10.
Wow, nice.
And it was, I mean, they were tough bases up. There might have been a few mistakes, but it was a good cleanup. It was a 45 person war, I think. And we ended up being 100 or maybe it was by 12. I can't remember. Damn it. It was like 114 to 106, maybe it was 8. It was close. It was like at the end we were like, okay, maybe we could eke this out. But I was like, this is awesome. And it kind of goes to show, and I think you talked about it with Jake in the first part of the interview. But just that even though there's X modding going on, it doesn't mean that you can't win against the people, because it still takes skill.
We've beat lots of clans that have cheated, and we still beat them because they weren't very good. And
it was like, just keep hammering at it, because the top guys, they can't, even with Xmod, you have to be, and this came up, I think, in the interview, was that you have to be really good attackers.
Yeah, even if you're ghosting 100 times, if you don't know how to 3-star a max Town Hall 9 base, you're not going to just stumble across a strategy to 3-star it just by, attacking it over and over and over. You need to still be able to plan out a 3-star attack.
And then execute it in real war.
Yeah. But so I mean, if you know how to plan out a 3-star attack and you execute it, 5 times ghosting or something, then you're likelihood of executing it, properly in the real war is so much higher, I would think. But you still have to put in a lot of scouting time and, stuff like that. You can't just, decide I'm going to spam troops, a bunch of times, and one of these times it'll be 3 stars or whatever. So yeah, I think that's a big thing that people kind of forget about, that clans that do IMOD or XMOD, I guess I'd just say IMOD because that's what I'm used to saying. So clans that do use it are like, and they always win. Like, it's super shady, it's a bullshit thing to do, but they're good players,
Yeah.
because they are able to, they still have to do those attacks. They still have one shot at doing those attacks. I mean, they're not good people, pieces of shit with their souls, but they are good attackers.
And I thought, I wish I could do that, because you only get the 2 war attacks. Mm-hmm. I wish I didn't have like scruples about doing it, because I'd be like, and I thought, well, what if you just did it, but you didn't attack that base during the war, but you just could? And I'm like, no, it's a slippery slope. You don't even think about it.
That would be really cool, though, to be able to just practice war attacks.
Yeah, just where you could just keep going and you don't have to train a new army. And but I'm like, no, that's a slippery slope. And anyways, but what I thought was, here's one solution I had which I thought could really throw a wrench in it. Mm-hmm. If you had 2 war bases, identical war bases, and then you just switch the traps, all the things that are invisible.
So you mean if they're ghosting you on prep day?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, I think you should almost do
that.
You should do that every prep day, because even if you forget, you didn't lose anything.
Yeah.
But if you switched it to your other war base and your traps are all different, they'd be going, oh yeah, I've been practicing this all day. They didn't change it. God, and then they go in and everything's changed. And then even if they were doing it all day and then they had the XMod the next day, you could trip up their memory, because they'd be like, oh shit, was it here? Was it here? You know? And so I'm like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to put all my traps in one spot, balloons, all the things in my arm, and then I'm going to switch it. Mm-hmm. And if I forget, I forget, but it's going to be the exact same base. And then it could just throw one little wrench, into the prep thing.
Just switched like one pair of double giant bombs to a different spot. I mean, it could just completely, because most of those
put them in the stupid spot, like you'd say.
They still have to be between 2 defenses to be very.
But even the traps, like because if you then you're going to do hogs. Oh, all of a sudden it's in the spot where you really wanted them to be. Or even if it's just like, because I have mine like around the base, like if you go through one side, some of them is open, you have to guess whether or not there's going to be traps there. Well, does it really matter to me if the traps are on the one side instead of the other side? Not really.
No, yeah, for sure.
So I'm like, I'm totally going to do that, because I thought that could be the one thing, because then they've got 2 days of practice. If they're X-modding you and you don't, and your traps are in the same. Well, yeah, let's see what happens.
Because the reason Scotty's saying XMod is Coop said that now it's called XMod. Was that the discussion that he was saying, that it used to be called iMod, now it's called XMod or something?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe we'll just call it modding.
Modding.
Yeah, that's better.
Not give them good press, but yeah. So they're modding, and it's like, okay, I'm totally just switching traps. Does it matter if this is here, this is there? No, I mean, it's deception this way. It can be deception the other way. And then, I know in House of L, House of Zod, they said no more like prep day fun base, because Boneyard forgot his out on a close war. And it's always funny because Boneyard gets really mad at people, and he's like, he boots them out for this, like, for making stupid mistakes or whatever, and then it happens to him. So I was giving him shit about it on the last podcast, which hasn't come out yet because I forgot my computer today and I was going to post it.
I cannot wait to hear that one though, because it has you start going over the troop suggestions, right? Yeah,
we started the troop suggestions. There's actually 2 episodes. We did 2 in a row. And so I just wanted to listen to make sure everything was good, and then try to take down, the troop names and stuff again, so that I kind of think we might put it up to the to the listeners too, and they're still coming in. It'll be done February 1st, which is Sunday, so this might already be out. But depending on when we record the next one, we'll probably chop it there, and if some comes in. But so it was pretty fun, and it was pretty cool to listen to all these troop ideas, and so yeah, so.
There are some really good ones that came in because I see the
and I didn't read them if I didn't. Some people asked for confirmation whether or not I got it, and of course their name is different than
you get it. I mean, if the email went through listeners to Clash of Clans podcast and didn't bounce back to your inbox, then they received.
But I wanted to read them fresh. I wanted to sit across from Boneyard and read them fresh, so that way I didn't have any I've already thought about this, wanted fresh read. So I did see a couple just briefly, but yeah, so it's pretty cool. And so then we did another war in Phantom Zone, or not Phantom Zone, in Kent Farmhouse. In one, I couldn't be around much today for the end of it and stuff, and I screwed up my Lava Lunian attack, and both of them actually, because I thought, well, we were just hammering it out, like 3-starring, and of course stupid me tweeted out the Clash Caller.
The Clash Caller code.
The Clash Caller code. It's a one-time code for a war. And I think, after I saw it, I was in the car and I saw you tweeted something back because I took a picture. So we get matched up again. There was a Chinese clan. I think it was Chinese on Monday or on Sunday Night's War. Another one today, or this war. And it was Kent Farmhouse. So you go to Clash Caller, and it's a little misleading because it says start war, join war. And so, join war to me is okay, wait a second. What does that mean? I didn't know what to do. But anyways, you log in and you put in your code that's unique to your war. And then you sign up, and you basically call your base. So that's your base. And then and so in Kent, we don't do this in House of L. But it was mandatory.
It's awesome to hear that they're doing it over there. I think probably because they're doing it once a week, they can go a little more in depth than you guys and stuff.
And I guess we could talk about that. And I'll tell you the one downside about it.
Okay. I'm curious what your feelings on it are since you hadn't done it before.
Well, and I'm a Town Hall 10, so I was number one in Kent, which is crazy, being number one in a clan. And so anyways, with the tweet picture, I went in and I screenshot it because I kind of got a kick out of it because it said
it was a good tweet. It was just funny.
Kent Farmhouse versus Chinese Clan 2. And I just was like, okay, and so I tweeted out, this is what happens when you can't pronounce your opponent's name or something like that. And I just thought it was just funny. And then of course, after I tweeted it, I saw the caller code, and Boaz says, don't tweet out your caller code. And somebody else had sent that back too.
Yeah, and Nan said it first too. Said, don't tweet out the caller code.
And I thought,
he said now people are going to spam your Clash Caller page or something. So hopefully they didn't.
I don't know if they did. I don't think they did. But I was like, oh. And I was in the car, and I'm like, I haven't deleted a tweet before, or I thought I could maybe touch up the photo. And I just couldn't. I'm like, you know what? We're almost done with the war anyway. Yeah. Hopefully nobody does anything. But
it's not like they can actually go in and do attacks.
And it's not like it's going to affect. That's kind of why I was explaining.
As long as your opponent doesn't go in and mess with.
The opponent goes in and messes with. But even then, it was we were way far into the war. It was like, most of the attacks had already been done. And so I was just like, okay, it's probably not a big deal, so I'm not going to really worry about it. And it's a one-time code, so every war. So that's how Clash Caller works. You go in, really cool website. I think whoever designed that would be an awesome guest.
Oh yeah,
I was thinking about that, and his name is on there.
Cool.
But it says Start War, so you just do that and you put in, and the names are in there, and you go in and you basically just sign up. And the one downside of it that I saw was people just went attacked, and I couldn't keep up watching them because there was 4 people attacking at one time. And I noticed that there wasn't as much discussion. I'm thinking about this person. Did anybody call this? It was, and I think it really works for Kent Farmhouse.
Do you know whether there was discussion on prep day, because people don't necessarily need to discuss it right before their attack. They can discuss it, 10 hours before their attack, because they know what base they're going to attack. So they might have been discussing it and talking about it, but just way in advance.
Maybe.
I mean, maybe they weren't.
I guess I wasn't seeing the type of discussion like, okay, I'm going to go attack. And it was kind of like in Ella, I think we started to kind of wait for each other. And, to say, I'm thinking about this, do you have suggestions? And so you can kind of be like tentative. You can go, I'm thinking about this one. And it's like, well, what troops do you have? What troops are you using? Well, I'm planning on a dragon one, it's going to take this. And then we'll go, you know what? That might not be the best base for you. So there's kind of more discussion. And there was a lot of discussion, with a lot of attacks. People had called them, and then there was a lot of talk. But it was like, it was hard to not be able, like, people just came in, attacked, and that might be that clan, because it's only once a week that they wore, and it's mandatory, and people, but we're doing it a couple times a week, so we enjoy that part of the game, and kind of, coming, going, and walking through and talking about stuff. But it was mostly right at the start, because it was like right out of the gates, boom, 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 attack, and so that was only the one downside. And because, like, in our clan, like, if somebody says, I'm going to take this base, and we'll say, what are you using? And we'll go, no, not that.
Yeah.
That is not a good army. You should maybe try this number instead.
Yeah.
And so I can see downsides and but also really positive sides, because, like, with your interview with Jake and talking about how pick your base, and I know you like to scout. So it depends on how it fits with your clan. One thing I'd like Supercell this year, I'm going to add this to my wish list. I wish they'd put hyperlinks in clan mail, because
that'd be cool.
Because if you could just click on clashcaller.com in there, and it takes you to the website instead of having to go outside of the program, type in the web address, go, but if I could just click on it and it just takes me there, I put in my code, or whatnot, or you could actually hyperlink the clan thing with the code on there and go right to the page.
Yeah, for sure. Because we clan mail out our code, but you still have to either go in on a different device, and go to the website, or back out and go to the website. But it's just a one-time thing, so it does only take, a very short while. But that would be awesome to just be able to do it like that. Or they could even have like an internal program within the game that lets you call stuff. But
yeah, well, and I think there's like, I think it's like how you use it. I think it was really cool to see, and I think Kent Farmhouse is doing an awesome job with it. And it would have been cool to get paired up with Phantom Zone.
Yeah, well, I think we should just keep trying. I mean, if we're close enough in terms of the bases and stuff, we should just keep trying every war to match up. Yeah,
and the line chat's been, and now I have the line on. It's a really good program for the chat for clan. I don't use it that much, but now that it's on my computer and it's on my iPad, it is so much easier to use, because then I can just kind of quick check in instead of going to my phone. And I have big hands. And so on my iPhone 5, like, typing is not the best, most fun thing for me.
Yeah.
I'd rather type on the iPad. So yeah, so it's been cool. And a lot of people coordinate through there. And it's I don't know. It's a cool program. Line chat's a really good way to coordinate. I know we talk about this. It's just an app.
Yeah, I still prefer GroupMe, but Line there definitely has some advantages over GroupMe too, which is
and it's
cool,
a really good community in the Kryptonian family. I think there's a lot of people.
Yeah, there's 100 people now in the main chat room or whatever. So it's pretty cool.
So there's a lot of other coordination going on, and I know that people were asking about attacks and base design on the Line chat as well. And so it's been a cool experience this week. So big shout out to everybody in Kent Farmhouse.
And one thing that we do that Kent Farmhouse might be doing is that like someone will come on and be like, I'm gonna, I just called 17, is such and such on, because they know that such and such is good with this particular composition, or is this, or is either this person or this person on, and one of them's and do you have a second? Oh yeah, can you walk through the bass with me? And so then they'll go through it and plan the attack and everything, and then they'll be like, okay, I'm gonna attack in 6 hours, and then leave because they're they're at school or they got to go to work or whatever. So it's like, and then they come on 6 hours later and do the attack without saying anything, or they might say, oh hey, I'm going in, or something like that, but they already did all of the planning way in advance. So I mean, maybe Kent was doing that, maybe they weren't, but that's definitely a way that we do it a lot, is that people plan their attack, and then at whatever time in the future they'll actually go in and do the attack. So but yeah, we like it a lot. So what did you say the downside of it was?
Well, just the chat.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
less chatting as the attacks are happening, and stuff.
or like people just did their attacks, and but they stayed around and chatted, but it was like it was just all happening at the same time.
Yeah,
and
so
that's
always a bummer, because I love watching replays.
Yeah,
so it does suck. Like if there's like nothing, and then all of a sudden 3 people are going at once.
And so if people are calling it in the chat, then it's like, okay, wait, hold on, this person's attacking, and then it just kind of staggers it a little more. So it was cool, but I wanted, before I forget, because there's a couple shout outs, and then we should wrap up in the near future, and then we can keep going, because we still haven't got to half the things I want to talk about. But this was pretty cool.
Any of the things I want to talk about, so we still got a lot of good stuff left.
Yeah, it's been a while since we chatted.
I realized how many things. I listened to the last one we did, and I realized how many things have changed, like just in that 2
weeks. I think it's been two or 3 weeks.
2 or 3 weeks, and I was like, oh, the only Town Hall 10 attack that people use is Go Wipe, and now the Lava Loon attack is used. I'd say in our clan it's being used at least as much, because it has the possibility of a 3-star.
Yeah.
Whereas Go Wipe, you're going for the 2-star.
People are caught with their air defenses down. I mean, it's still happening, because at a certain level, it's like, well, I'm not getting dragon attacked anymore. Mm-hmm. And then it's like people can, relax on them because they're expensive and they take forever. Mm-hmm. Big shout out to Mystic. Okay, first of all, big shout out to Stretch, who, and I'll probably shout him out when I'm recording with Boneyard again, because I'll have to tell him about it. Absorbed 11 attacks.
Oh yeah, I saw the base he used. He
was a Town Hall 8. Uh-huh. They attacked him, and this was against a good clan. I mean, it was like, we won, I believe, and it came down to just a couple, but he ate up 10 attacks, and then on the 11th, he got 3-starred.
Wow.
It was amazing.
And it was a much higher guy coming down, right?
Yeah.
And finally just being like, oh, fuck it, I'm just going to 3-star him.
People were just like, okay, wait a second. Why is this just not happening? Like, okay, I'll get that easy star. Uh-huh. But for something about his base, it just kept chewing up the attacks.
He's learning how to make different noises now, so in case anyone hears that
Clash.
in the background. Okay, sorry.
And then Mystic in that same war goes in. He's a Town Hall 9, goes up to the Town Hall 10. Let's see. Wait, no, I think we lost by 2 on that. What was it? The war before. No, I think we won that. Maybe not. Well, he got he 1-starred, or no, he almost 2-starred the top level base.
Nice.
Which was really, really impressive. And I was like, okay, maybe we should think about our, Town Hall 10s with a 1 attack, to get 1-star, or Town Hall 9s. And it was pretty cool to see.
A lot of clans do that, where they will have the Town Hall 9s 2-star Town Hall 10s, and so then the Town Hall 10s can come down in 3-star Town Hall 9s, and it's just depending on the way that the bases are set up and everything. It's a very useful strategy. I mean, it totally depends on the base design and how leveled up the low Town Hall 10s are and stuff like that. But in certain situations, it's a really strong way to do it. But one thing I've noticed is Town Hall 10s tend to forget how to attack Town Hall 9s. Like we had some wars like that where Town Hall 10s needed to hit Town Hall 9s, and they were, for instance, bringing freeze spells to the attack, which you don't do that. And there's like a bunch of different, and go wiping, because go wiping is a 2-star comp. So they were going in with these like OP troops and heroes and still just 2-starring because they were using go wipe instead of.
That's what happens a lot to me in wars, is that I go into a 9, and I had a really good attack actually against a 9. But the 9 had like really high walls. And so I used like 2 jumps, and I had a really cool makeup. And if the walls would have been a little bit lower, it would have been a really good 3-star, but it was with go wee. And, nice. And I had really good spell placement. It was really close. But I think that is a tough problem, because all of a sudden you throw out the Infernos and
you're like, where do I use this free? You know, I took 2 free. And if they have all the Teslas in the core, that's one thing. If they have 4 Teslas around the town hall and you can get all 4 Teslas with 1 freeze, and if you scouted that in advance, then I think in that situation, when your P.E.K.K.A.s are in the core and there's 4 Teslas right there, that's a good spot to use a freeze. And I shouldn't say that people can't restart with Go Wipe. I mean, I see that. I've been seeing that happen in Phantom Zone and stuff. But it's, you have to be planning to 3-star it. You know, when Town Hall 10s do it, they're usually going for 2 stars when they're going high. And so they're not, they don't have a plan for the second half of the base, Whereas if you have witches and golems going around the sides, then you're going to, clean up the whole thing.
Well, and I think that becomes a real issue where it's like you go in and you are, like, as a 10, it's like I'll make up, because a lot of times in House of L, it comes down to the math at the end. Do I go for a Town Hall 10? And sometimes they've got 1 star on them, or 2 stars. You can't go higher, and at the time you're looking at it and you're like, okay, well, I could go for a Town Hall 10, or I could try to put a 3 on a 9, and it's like, it gets really dicey, because I mean, our wars are coming down to like a few, it's almost always like that.
Yeah. Which I think I know why. I think I might know why L gets such harder matchups than Zod. This kind of came to light in the line chat, which was very interesting.
Why is that?
But you guys apparently, the people we were talking to, don't know about the practice of searching for 10 or 15 minutes, then stopping the search and restarting every 10 or 15 minutes, because the longer your search runs, the wider of a net it casts, so therefore the more poorly matched the clan is that you'll end up with. So L, when you guys just do it and just let it run, and then you find a match after 45 minutes or something, you have the potential to have it be a really difficult clan. I mean, also you guys have a lot more Town Hall 10s, so it's so it is different in that way from House of Zod. But Zod does the thing where you let it search for a little while, then cancel it, let it search for a little while, cancel it. They're also saying that if they do that for a little while and it doesn't work, then they let it run longer and longer. But yeah, that's a big difference, is that House of L hasn't been doing that, and so that might actually help you guys out a lot. I mean, you do just have such high level defensive bases that you're going to attract really strong opponents, whereas Zod has much lower defensive bases with high attacking power and stuff. Which I was actually over there the other day to watch some attacks and stuff, and so I wanted to talk about that visit and shout out a few people in Zod over there. I went to see Brock, because I've been talking to Brock a lot in the line chat. He's a big fan of Hulk and Jake and stuff, and he and I think it's Enrico were actually in one of the One Hive clans for a while, One Hive 2.0, like learning some strategies to bring back to Zod and everything. And so he was telling me about an attack that he did, and I was like, oh, I want to go check it out. So I took Jungle Insider over there. Shh, it's okay, buddy. And these hog attacks he did. One was he had already done like a Goho attack with some golems and hogs. This was in Zod.
Oh, okay.
And then the other one he did live, and it was one of the best, up there with the best hog attacks that I've seen. It was amazing. Like he sent in some hogs in a couple different places at the beginning to take out some defenses, sent his heroes into a certain spot to take out some defenses and explode double giant bombs. So there was no bombs. And then it also created this like funnel thing, like a T shape for the hogs. And so then he sent the hogs on two different sides. They met in the middle, got healed, went down, and then took everything else out. Like it was just like he did it with so many hogs left, and it was a super strong Town Hall 9 base and stuff. So I was just like, damn, cool. Like, and then Enrico came on, and they took umbrage with me over my talks about Town Hall 8 dragon attacks and stuff, and just dragon attacks in general, which I still don't like. I just think they're boring dragon attacks, but unless you mix in a lot of balloons and just use the dragons a little bit or something. But they were showing me some different dragon attacks in there that were really, really good, like really high level bases that they were taking out with Dragloon. And I know that that Jake talks about that a lot too. He likes Town Hall 8 Dragloon attacks.
Yeah, there's some cool ones.
Yeah, so they kind of changed my mind back a little. It's kind of like going to House of L and having T-skits changed my mind a little bit about the luring with the certain attack strategy, you know, having the troops draw you into the middle. They kind of changed my mind a little bit on the high level dragon attacks, where, you know, I've always kind of said, you know, when you're new Town Hall 8, you know, go with drags as your first upgrade and use those in your wars. Or when you're Town Hall 7, always use dragons. But then as you're a later Town Hall 8, there's lots of other stuff that you can do. But yeah, so anyway, they were showing me some really cool stuff. And I didn't realize, like, I never know from talking to Boneyard how good of a war clan they are. Like, they're very serious, very highly strategized, organized. Yeah, and just really skilled attackers and stuff. And I never really knew that.
When we talk about the matchups, it's not about like their ability as a clan. Mm-hmm. It's about like we just don't get. Very rarely do we get one that we just really walk all over. Mm-hmm. You know, and Boneyard talks about that.
And I think when they match up with an equal amount of Town Hall 7s, 8s, 9s, you know, or whatever, then they have an advantage because their attacking power so outstrips their defensive power. And so, but when you guys have an equal thing, you guys have really some, you know, strong bases with Infernos and stuff like that. And so it's really hard to have your attacking power outweigh your defensive power when you have such strong buildings and like stuff,
super high heroes, you know, that kind of stuff, you know. And I think it might be the level, you know, the Town Hall 10 level, you know, at the top. You know, T-skits in our clan is completely maxed, except for walls and heroes, you know. So that's what he's working on. And so so those type of things like factor in, and walls don't factor in that much into the matching algorithm, which I guess one piece of advice, you know, if you are going to burn elixir off and you have that, throw a couple, get your walls or some of them to level 8 and start working on them with your elixir. If you have to burn it, but research first. And I think, research first, but then, like Boneyard got caught because he didn't have level 8 walls, but then there was all this elixir, and he had a few he could do, but he, you know, couldn't do the other thing, do the other ones because his weren't at level 8. And some of these Town Hall 9s, that have these super strong walls, like this Go Wee Wee that I did, it was a good layout, but the walls were just so strong. And I think more and more that's why a level 6 bomber is coming.
Level 7.
It's level 7. I mean, I think because of the change in wall, there's got to be something that.
And this is a huge topic these days, this war maximization and how to upgrade your base the most effectively for war. So can we cut this episode here and then I'll deal with this baby and then we'll start the next one?
Let's wrap up and then and we'll get into all this stuff because there's a lot to talk about, I guess. and some more shout outs, like Lord Harry Nuts, for example, or Botox, who's new to House of L. And
oh yeah, we've shouted out Botox a lot though.
Yeah,
he's a good guy. He just came in the line chat.
If you haven't yet, please go to our website, take the survey. It's super quick.
Yeah, please take
help.
the survey. It takes a few seconds.
And so get a hold of us, clashclanspodcast@gmail.com or at WBSMT Radio on Twitter, which has been fun. Lots of people tweeting in. 42427-CLASH. There's some voicemails that we got to get to. And at TrueSonBoaz on Twitter as well. And TrueSonBoaz@gmail.com.
Exactly.
And we are working on the Twitch.
That'll be sweet.
It'll be fun. We'll have to do it during the podcast. So keep it clashy, everybody.
Keep it clashy.
Skilly beep 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 skilly beep.